So I'm going to offer a short practice here for tight hips, and let's see where it goes. We're going to start at the back of the mat with the knees slightly wider than shoulder distance apart. Rest your sitting bones on your heels and stretch your arms out in front of you. Feel the anchor through the heels of the hands and feel the weight of the pelvis sink. And take 2 breaths here, in through the nose, emptying out through the mouth. And one more time, full breath in, and an exhale to empty. And then slide the hands under the shoulders and just prop yourself up here. We're going to gather the knees together, turn the palms to face forward, circle the arms up and over the head, clasps thumbs up at the top here. And as you take your next inhale, lengthen into the waist, creating more space between the pelvis and ribs, and take a side stretch, letting that right sitting bone drop off the right heel. Draw the arms up and back, set your gaze forward, take a breath in through the nose, fill that right lung just a little more. Reach on the high diagonal through the arms, exhale out, and then come back through the center. Switch the clasp of the thumb, might feel a little weird. Lengthen into the side body, switch sides here, take a breath into the left side. So we're creating space here in the side bodies. You might even feel a nice pull at the crest of the pelvis. Come back through the center and bring your arms down. From here, we're going to bring the hands forward, come onto all fours, create a little pocket of space between the knees, and feel here that the back of the skull lines up to the sacrum. All right, the chest wall may drop just a little bit between the hands. We're going to start to circulate our weight between the hands and the knees, right? Just clockwise revolutions here. And continue to feel here like the spine stays in alignment. The spine stays straight even as we circle around ourselves. And then we're going to reverse that circle, so counterclockwise, trying not to tuck the tail under. So we're allowing the femur head to just roll circularly in the hip socket. And one more. And then from here, we're going to walk the knees together, right? We're going to take here the left leg and slide it back, keeping the hips squared, keeping that left leg long and straight. And start here to feel a little pressure into the heels of the hand. Bring the chest here forward, roll the collarbones forward, wrap the triceps into the midline, look straight ahead, seeing where you want to go, right? Draw the abdominals up, and then when you're ready, bend the left knee behind the right, all right? And we're going to kind of separate the feet here, right? Just a little bit. So if you look back, you can see that the knees and both feet make the shape of an equilateral triangle. We're going to start to clockwise circles, right? And here, kind of reaching just a little bit more through that right hip. So the right knee's in front, right? Just stretching out the sides of the hips. And then we're going to pause here in the center. Shift your weight back and see if you can come all the way down, right? Now, ideally, we want to stack the knees, right, on top of one another. You may need a blanket under your right hip here. And we're going to place the hands just on the ball of the foot on each side, right? And the balls of the feet correspond to the lungs. So just imagine plumping up into the balls of the feet, plumping up into the back, sides of the rib cage wall. Just a few breaths. Set your gaze forward, reaching up through the crown, but also feeling weighted down into the pelvis, right? Grounding down into the mat, onto the floor underneath us. full breath. And for a moment, release the hands and just fold forward. And notice here, if you can visualize here, that the shoulders are squared, right? That the spine is long and lengthened and even in length on both sides. Take a breath in and a breath out. Maybe here extending the arms a little more fully, a little longer, a little straighter. Breathing into the upper neck and shoulders. And then peeling all the way up. Resting your right hand with the fingers pointing down on the sacrum. Bringing your left hand to the knee and just moving here, that left side ribs forward through the chest wall and looking over the right shoulder. So twisting not from our lumbar spine, but from our thoracic, right? Through the ribs, through the chest, and upwards into the cervical spine. And see if you can align the top of the head down into the tail. And that sense of resonance kind of coming down through the tail, the weight of it. And then we're going to unwind, start to move the body to your left. And come all the way up and around to switch sides. Just come down onto the knees. We're going to walk our hands forward. And we're going to start here with that cow face pose, but the left knee is now in front. We're going to move counterclockwise here now. So the crown and the tail line up. We're shifting our weight, right, through the hands, down into the knees, creating some fluidity in that movement. And one more in this direction. And then we'll pause in the center. And then carefully just shift your weight back. Walk the hands back. And again, you can prop yourself up on your blankets. You want to feel that the sitting bones are level, right? There's some nice solid weight coming down. We're going to rest the hands on the balls of the feet. And breathe here. 4 breaths, lining up the crown to the perineum. Breathing here. You might feel the abdomen extending and then softening, and that's fine. Try not to grip the abdominals. Notice where your gaze is. Is it down, looking forward and slightly up, seeing where you want to go. And then keeping the length in the spine, start to fold forward. You can rest the hands on the mat in front of you. To deepen the stretch, you can extend the arms a little further. And for today, feel welcome to let the skull get heavy. Now you can use your hands for leverage. So let's say I keep my hands underneath me and I kind of push into, create a little pressure in the mat. That alleviates some of the pressure in the pelvis, right? So we can use the capacity of our arms to support, right, our lower body. And if you feel like you don't need that and you're not gripping, then you can bring the arms out a little further. Take one more breath, trying to fill both lungs. And then scoop all the way up. We bring our left hand, fingers pointing down to the sacrum, right hand on the knee. We start to move from these low ribs, right? Rotating. And really look over the shoulder. Take a breath in. Get the top of the head, the crown of the head aligned up with the tailbone. Breathe here, wringing out the low ribs into the waist, through the internal organs. And then gently unwind. And from here, we're just going to uncross the legs. Make yourself comfortable on your mat. Right, just peel down along the spine and let's interlace the fingers, hug the right knee into the chest. Right, and imagine here, right, you're standing. So we're going to settle into the ball and the heel of the left foot. Sitting bones are level. And we want to feel the weight of this right thigh dropping down into the hip socket, right? Keeping the waist even in length on both sides. And we're going to cross the right heel over the outside of the left thigh. Pick it up. Stretching out the rotators. Tip the pelvis back. Press the elbow into the upper inner thigh. Take a breath here. Feeling those deep external rotators. Settling that left foot down. Interlace the fingers again, but bring them behind the right leg. Just flex and point through this right leg. If you need to move the hand up or want to a little higher, that's fine. Make some circles through the foot and ankle. And then really feel the pelvis has an even distribution of weight between the front, right, and the back.
So I got a question for you.
And then we're going to bend the right knee, open the right arm up to the side, and take a twist. Take a breath in and a breath out. And then return back through the center and bring that foot down. Same thing, left knee into the chest. Anchor through the ball and the heel of the right foot with an even distribution of weight. Waist is even in length on both sides. And then we're going to externally rotate the left leg. From here, we're going to pick the right knee up. Sitting bones are level to one another. We're going to hold behind the right thigh now. It's fine here if you feel the imprint of the spine happen. Notice what happens if you don't imprint the spine. You might feel, right, the stretch in the hips a little bit more deeply. Right? And then we're going to, when you're ready, lower the right foot, return to parallel and extend the leg. Interlace the fingers, flex and point through the left leg to begin. Right, and these you're just feeling the weight of the thigh bone sinking down and back into the socket. Maybe make a few circles. Right, so we're emphasizing the hips and what's going on in the pelvis. And then we're going to bend the left knee, coming across the body, across the left thigh, and just take a twist. Try to keep the left shoulder anchored. Come back through the center when you're ready and lower the leg down. From here, we're going to hug both knees into the chest. So first, we're going to posteriorly tip the pelvis. So we have the pubic bone now higher than the navel. Right leg comes up, left leg comes up to meet it. Right? We're going to bring the hands, kind of, I call it here, kind of that bikini line, where you can feel a little protrusion on the outer edge of the thigh bone, that trochanter. We're going to peel the toes back here. And imagine here from the trochanter to your sitting bones, just a subtle pull, an elastic pull. And as you start to feel that pull, allow the thighs to peel apart, heels together. Inhale back through the center. Right? So from the trochanter to the sit bone, just a little scoop, elastic pull. And as we do so, you're going to use an exhale breath, trying to keep your transverse abdominis, that corset, engaged, and to also feel like the work isn't happening in the hip socket, right? It's the outside of the hip. You can float your head up. So feeling, right, the support on the outside of the hips. We're going to do one more. Come back through the center. We're going to lower just the left leg down. Lower the skull, re-extend your right leg here. Just take a stretch. And then from here, allow the left thigh to just peel open. So you create a little space. And we're going to let the right leg start to move out to the side. We're going to catch the outside of the right ankle. And take a stretch here. Now imagine we want to keep a little rise, a little lift in the left side waist, right? So think about that twist you did earlier. Reach forward through the toes, right? Try not to let the leg drop, but imagine reaching forward through the toes. And then gently from here, just let the leg sweep down, circle it out to the side, catch it. Right, so now we got the inner thighs, just opening, breathing here. And then bring everything back into parallel, and then lower the right leg. Let's do the same thing on the other side. So the left knee comes up, right leg moves into external rotation, right? From here, just take a nice stretch up through the left leg. You've created a little space so that leg can move. Gently start to let the leg fall over to your right. Catch the outside of the ankle. The shoulder blades stay anchored on your mat. Reach forward into your toes. You can turn your gaze to the hand behind you. Breathing here. And then gently let the leg come down. Circle up, catch it. Imagine your sitting bones being leveled to one another. So we don't want to let the right one be a lot lower, left one higher. So kind of play around with where this left leg needs to be. The arm just comes out to the side. And then bring everything back into parallel. And we're going to bring the right leg back up to the tabletop position. This time we're going to interlace the fingers. Slide the hands to the center base of the skull, curl up. And we're going to move into that sequence once again, just peeling the hips apart. Inhale, back together. Trochanter to sit bone 2. Back to the center. 2 more. 3. Use the exhale. See the abdominals hollow. 1 more. 4. Now from here, we're going to imprint our spine. So we scoop the tail. Tail gets a little lighter. We're going to reach here 8 times, straightening the legs at the same time. Feel the glutes firm up as the legs straighten. For 4. 2 more. Last one. Come all the way back down. From here, you're going to just gently rock yourself up. Cross at the ankles. And step back into a comfortable plank position. Balance, right? Your weight out between the hands and the feet. Firm into your legs, thighs, glutes. Set your gaze out in front of you. And keep the left leg firm. Shift forward to the tips of the toes and bring your right knee up into your tabletop. Now, feeling that elastic pull from trochanter to sit bone, let the leg externally rotate. Use the abdominals to pull the knee forward and set it down behind the wrist. Chug the left foot back until the knee comes down. And coming into just a nice modified pigeon. You can set your right hip back down, right? You can use your blanket and bring it underneath the hips. And we're going to walk the arms out in front of us. Square the hips, square the pelvis here. You're also welcome here to bring the arms across the body, right? To open up that left side. You can bring both arms out here. Keep reaching back through the left leg, keeping the leg in parallel. And then return back through the center. Bring the hands under the shoulders. Peel the toes under, firm your low belly, and return to plank. All right, so the most important thing first is even distribution of weight, hand, foot, firm thighs, glutes, and transverse. Keep the right leg firm without letting the left side of the pelvis drop. The left knee floats forward. Feeling the pull, left trochanter to sit bone, the leg externally rotates. We firm the belly, shift the knee behind the wrist, and chug back here. Some of you may want to put the heel right into the hip socket. That's a nice sensation there. You can even kind of drag it out a little bit. It's also just an easier way. Here we can line this heel up to the back leg, right? This is a modified pigeon. It can be done many ways. I'm going to keep the pelvis level across the back. Keep reaching through the back leg. Slide the arms forward. Hips are squared, ribs are squared, shoulders are squared. Take a breath in. Almost like you're going to drag the right leg back a little further. Stretch the arms forward a little bit more. And again, as we did on the other side, you can take a side bend here, reaching a little further with the right arm. So right arm, right leg. Feeling the polarity, right? The opposite pull between the arm and the leg. Keep tone on your abdominals in particular to feel just a little bit more sensation in the hips. We've returned to plank. Right, now from here, we're gonna bend the knees and shift our hips back and walk the hands back to the feet with bent knees. Keep weight more on the ball of the foot than the heel. Allow the ribs to fall between the thighs. And feel the thigh bones sinking back into the socket. Use the breath here to push through the balls of the feet, hollow out the abdominals, and stack the spine all the way up. You can step to the center of your mat. As we did supine, or lying down, we're going to bring the right knee into tabletop, interlace the fingers, and stand on this leg, right? Feel the support of the left leg, firm the glute, firm down into the heel, set the gaze forward and up. And figure 4 here, right? Trochanter to sit bone, hips are squared, bend into the left knee. Stretch it out. This can be done up against a wall here, or you can bring one hand to the ankle, one hand to the outside of the knee. And you're welcome just to hold this position. You can even bring the hands down all the way onto the floor. And then from here, we're going to catch here the top of the right ankle, bring the heel to the butt, and try to bring the legs parallel to one another, pulling the pubic bone forward. You can switch the clasp of your hand here to open up the chest and shoulders. Take a breath in, keep the abdominals firm, and a breath out. See if you can put a little pressure from the top of the foot into the hand, and let that right knee slide back a little. Stretch out the hip. Feel welcome for balance to bring the left arm out in front of you. And then fall out of it as gracefully as you can. Stack the spine, upright the pelvis. Bring the left knee into the chest. Firm down into the right heel. Feel your glute. Lengthen into the back of the waist. Set your gaze to where you want to be. Yeah? And then externally rotating here. Coming into your figure 4. Sitting bones are level. We're a neutral spine. We're not tucking. The transverse abdominis helps us balance. You can come all the way down. Hips are squared, rib cage is squared, shoulders are squared. Take a breath in. Right? And again, if you want to come all the way down, fingertips, palms. And then firm into your abdominals, press into the heel. Right? Return the leg to parallel. Grab the top of the foot, bring the legs to meet. Pull the pubic bone forward to optimize the stretch through the psoas and into the quad. Switch your grip if you want. Press the top of the foot against the hand. For balance, your compass, bring the arm out in front of you. Continually pulling that pubic bone forward, right? Take a breath in and take a breath out. And then from here, we're gonna cross the right foot over the left. Circle the arms up and over the head. Bring the left knee into the back of the right knee. Grab your right wrist. Firm your glutes, stretch out your waist, lift your gaze. Side bend here to your left. So the right foot is in front. Square your shoulders. Firm down into both heels. Press the legs together. Take a breath in and a breath out. You should feel that stretch all the way to the crest of the pelvis. Come back through the center. Replace the right foot down. Cross the left foot over the top. Circle the arms up and over the head. Draw the pubic bone forward. Lift up into the inner thighs. Side bend to your right. Firm into both heels. Draw the arms back a little further. Take a breath in and a breath out. You're going to feel the pelvis slide out to your left just a little bit. Come back up through the center and bring the arms down. Step the foot down.